always trying to get to the next number, always trying to get to the next volume, always trying to get to more dollars, always chasing, never at peace, sitting down, legs shaking all the time, always don't even know what to do with yourself. What is that? That's a vagabond spirit. How did I get that? What you're missing is intimacy with God, because He's the only one who's going to bring you the peace you want. So for me, it's not about knowing of God. It's not about knowing of Jesus. It's about having an intimate relationship with Jesus. And so the only thing I'm chasing is Him. Like, I just want to be in His presence and do what He planned for me. Those are the two things. Like, people are like, what happened to your day? Most of my day is spent with the Lord or doing what He planned for me that day, which means serving others. Usually it's not like, it's not just about myself. However, how I get fulfillment, and this is so important. I was speaking to Dr. Miles I think it was a couple of months ago, and I was saying, I used to take all these vacations. I've been everywhere. And, I stayed at almost every Ritz-Carlton you can imagine. I went to all 4 of them in Florida and all the ones in Carolina and different Caribbean islands. And I said, the amazing thing is, because, you take a vacation because you're like, man, I feel tired. I'm going to take a vacation. You go away for 2-3 days, and usually back then, it was like you would just drink a lot. Talk a whole bunch of gossip or chatter, and then you come back Monday, and what happens is that in practice, there are trials and tribulations and things that'll come that'll kind of knock you around a little bit. And you'll think, oh, I'm well refreshed, but the thing is, there's no real substance here. There's no power here. So what happens, you get knocked around, and by Monday afternoon, you're talking about your next vacation. Because you're like, whoa, I need another vacation, or maybe I need to close more hours, or whatever it is. And then I realized, I would go to a revival conference, like Dr. Ben was mentioning, 3 Days of Glory. You need to be out there. Why? Because you need to experience it. You're not going to learn something. You're going to experience the tangible presence of God and what it feels like to be so steadfast that when you come in on Monday morning and people start knocking you around, it has no effect on you. And so I said to him, I realized that although vacations are important for my family, most of my vacations are serving my family. Like, I'm not going there to get refreshed and rejuvenated and strengthened spiritually. I'm going there to create memory. So if I'm taking a vacation with my wife and kids, it's going to be to create memory. But I'm ministering to that. I'm ministering to that. That's not where I go to get fulfilled. That's not where I go to get joy. That's not where I go to get peace. I go to God for that, and I go to intimacy with Him. Why? Because if my wife is responsible for making me happy, I made her into an idol. Some of us make idols out of our kids. We make idols out of our businesses. What is an idol? An idol is anything you use for comfort or pleasure other than His presence. Write that down. Because you're going to start realizing there's a lot of idols there. You know why idols stink? Let me tell you why they stink. Because when you lose them, you grieve. You get wounded. If you make an idol out of a staff member, when that staff member leaves, you call Dr. Ben, you call Dr. Schiffman, and you're hurt and you're wounded because you made that person into an idol. And, God's going to destroy the idols in your life. Why? Because they don't serve you. They hurt you, they wound you, and the enemy knows that, and he'll use it against you. He'll deter you from your I know chiropractors that once somebody important left in their practice, they were never the same. They were so wounded, so traumatized from what happened in their life. The only thing that's going to give you true peace and joy and love and steadfastness is the presence of God. So what you want to know is, how do I get more into that? I'm not talking about knowing of Jesus. I'm not talking about, I read the Bible on a Sunday morning and now I'm good. I'm on assignment. I got a talk coming up in New Jersey. It's 2.5 hours away. Somebody would say, why do you go there? Because God sent me there. I go where He calls me because I'm on assignment.